Okay, it should be better now, I think. I do not know. Okay, so the new one, her lie I try to believe. I know nothing about this. As usual. Yeah. No info. Let's just start. I wonder why I didn't notice it at the time. The meaning behind all of it. Now that I do understand it, I can say with certainty that my life would have been completely different if I'd seen through it sooner. I don't know. Was I too insensitive? Maybe I simply didn't want to understand. No matter. Maybe you will see the truth where I couldn't. Ooh, okay, this is gonna be fun. You get to play like a role for someone. Get my glasses. Ooh. Okay, wait. I said the last time that I was going to try to get rid of these, like skip and option things, because I feel like it's like it breaks. I don't know, like it breaks the aesthetic of the game. I don't know, I mean, it looks pretty fine, I guess. There's no point in like messing around with everything. Yeah, there's no point in messing around with it. Because you see, I'm just breaking off more and more of it. Yeah, nah, screw it. There's no point. Just gonna damage everything more. Cool. Then let's carry on. It all started in elementary school. Not middle school or high school, but elementary school. Just to give an idea of how long she's been tormenting me. Yes, a girl. It's always about a girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys. No, it had to be a girl. Fuck. Cool, that works. It's over a minute, it's fine. Fuck. Wow, it's like, okay, loud. I'm loud, very loud. It should be fine. Yeah, it's fine right there. I can't exactly give a specific time for when this happened. I guess it just kind of turned out that way. The moment I laid my eyes on her, I knew I would. Hate her. She was tall. Well, not tall, but still taller than me back then. You know how it goes. Her hair was not very long. Boyish would probably be a good way to describe it. But then again, this was pretty common during the elementary school years. Her strength must have been similar to mine even. Her features resembled those of most of the girls. She wasn't special, that's for sure. She had brown eyes and black hair. A cute little girl. And it stopped at that. Just that. Though there was one thing. One indescribably small thing that separated her from the rest of those pure girls. Her eyes. Can you not beat the speed of her eyes? There was always something about them. I'm not talking about twinkles or anything of that sort, or anything of the sort. I'm talking about something darker. Something that doesn't belong to a kid. But she hid it, or at least she tried to, and it worked with most people, but not with me. I wonder if she saw the same thing in my eyes. Maybe that's why I felt so much contempt for her. Maybe that's why she answered that contempt with some unknown feelings of her own. I don't know how it happened. Did she provoke me first, or was I the one pushing this perception of us as the sole foundation of our relationship? The fact that we were rivals. I think it all started because she beat me at running. She beat me at pretty much everything, really. But I think running was something much more perceivable, and that's why it weighted so heavily on my mind. Good grief. Being beaten by a girl. And it wasn't as if she had a talent for running or anything. I was simply that mediocre of a runner, and that was that. To be honest, I probably would have been fine with it if it hadn't been for that annoying smile. That smile, always teasing me so brightly. And it wasn't that attractive either. I mean, more often than not, she was missing some baby teeth due to growth, so... But once again, I don't completely remember why she started doing it, but every time she won a race against me in PE, she would look at me with that smile and say, "Sup, dude? Better luck next time, Tim." Oh, so your name's Tim. For me at the time, there were no greatest insults. For a boy who's trying to differentiate himself from the others in an environment such as elementary school, being beaten and laughed at by a girl, there's no way I couldn't not take it personally. Excuse me. That made no sense whatsoever. So I kinda made it my life's mission to beat her every opportunity I could get. But sadly for me, I was just an average boy, and although she was also just an average girl, she was still slightly better than I was. In fact, it was simply a game for her. Something to put a smile on her face, or to feel proud about. Seeing me failing and looking so irritated by that, she might have thought I was also having fun somehow. It was only when winter came that she understood the full depth of my feelings. Oh, that looks nice though. We were kids. Excuse the voice crack. We were playing King of the Hill on a snowy hillock with a couple of other kids. I say we, but we weren't really friends or even acquainted for the matter. We knew each other's names, and that was pretty much it. Maybe what came next made even more of an impact because of that, because no one was really playing aggressively. We were just kind of pushing each other off the top of the mountain to claim it our own. But when I saw her, that girl with that smile, climb the mountain trying to take even this fleeting achievement from me, I kinda snapped. I remember thinking, this is mine, she won't take it from me. And she didn't. She didn't, because I grabbed her with every ounce of strength I could muster and threw her to the bottom of the hill, directly onto the hard ground. It must have hurt. It must have hurt really bad, but this simply didn't register for me. I was completely euphoric over the idea that I had protected what was mine, that I had finally beaten her at something. I guess our strengths were really no match after all. For some reason, the other kids were all tending to her with worries in their eyes. Finally, I understood that I had done something wrong. Their reproachful glares told me so. Yet I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel as if I was in the wrong here. I mean, this girl had been tormenting me, humiliating me for so long, so why should I be the one apologizing? Like hell I would. How could outsiders possibly understand how I felt anyway? Oh, sorry. Tired. A lot. Finally, the girl, Cassandra, got to her feet painfully. She didn't cry. She didn't try to elicit any compassion from those around her. No, she just looked at me. Oh, she angry. Looked at me with those eyes. That's when I knew she finally understood my feelings. That's when I knew she finally started hating me. She became serious. The rivalry I thought we had was nothing more than normality to her. So by seriously trying to beat me at everything, she became one of, if not the best students in our class. How ironic to think that she had never really taken me seriously before. To think that my desperation to beat her at something had in reality only helped her in bringing forth her true potential. Sure, I eventually became better too, because she finally reciprocated my hatred, but still, in the end, she always had the last word. Her smile changed too. The once faint but noticeable warmth no longer emanated from it. It was cold, like the thing I thought I had once seen in her eyes. She finally looked at me the way I had always looked at her. Guess I had opened her eyes and she saw me for who I truly was. I didn't feel bad about it. At least I thought I didn't. If I had any feelings back then, they were probably numbed by this overbearing thing we call ego. She also stopped saying her usual line when she beat me. She did continue to say something alright, but it was no longer that annoying line. Instead, it was something like, "Are you even trying?" And she said it as often as she could. She no longer said it when we were simply competing against each other at running, but also when we received our report cards and even during games of chance. My elementary school life ended with an extremely bitter aftertaste. I had become the laughingstock of my class, and I somehow had helped Cassandra become even better than she already was. Complete defeat indeed, but there would be other chances for me to prove my worth. I knew there would. A chance to crush her, that is. Middle school brought some changes with it. Well, not right away, but in the second part of the first year for sure. I became taller, or maybe she became shorter. I don't know. Since she was the only person I ever really looked at, she more or less became my sole reference when it came to any kind of physical challenge. I could hardly believe it, yet it was something anyone could have predicted, me becoming taller than her. For some unknown reason, we still ended up in the same class. By chance, we chose the same program, disgustingly enough. Our hatred toward each other was still very real, very much real. So it was like we simply picked up things from where we had left them at elementary school. Trying to catch those words. Her hair was longer now. Little by little, her body started to take shape in ways which made it very difficult to view her as a kid she had been only a few years ago. Even though I could see how beautiful she was becoming, yet somehow I was still repulsed by her. Similarly, what? Similarly, okay, gosh, I was struggling. Similarly, I changed drastically too. I became taller and I gained some mass along the way. Once again, I was still very much an average guy, but I tried my best to keep my body in shape in order to eventually win against her. And it paid off. Then again, it could have simply been a result of my obvious changes, but in any case, I finally started to gain the upper hand, at least during PE and other physical competitions. I was no longer chasing her, now she was the one chasing me. Can you show at least a bit of determination? That was my line. What a joke, really. I couldn't even think of anything clever to say, so I just stole her line and made it my own. I didn't stop at that. I wanted my back to be as far away in front of her as it could possibly be. So I started playing basketball to build up stamina and to keep my body in good shape. In no time at all, I became somewhat popular. Though I didn't really think that I was any good. It was just that my entire team was bad. That's all. Anyway, popularity didn't interest me. My eyes were still very much locked on her. At all times, sure, I played the card of being the cool kid, faking it to enjoy everyone's eyes on me, but that was just another way to get back at her. Cassandra, even her name makes me shudder. She had been popular in elementary school, but now she had become kinda gloomy and reclusive. Look at how happy I've become, and envy me. That was how I tried to act in front of her. That was how I wanted to make her feel whenever she saw me. But no matter how much space this irritating smile took up of my face, no matter my accomplishments, she never once looked at me. That's when I realized that she had lost all interest in our rivalry. It was only natural. I mean, she no longer had any chance against me when it came to physical performance. So I decided to shift gears. If I wanted to take everything away from her, I would need to build up not only my body, but also my mind. To think that bitch is ignoring me like that, I'll make her understand just how much she's made me suffer. Damn, this guy's been a real asshole, huh? It took me a long time to improve my grades. A long time indeed. It was all but natural to me. In the end, I had no other choice but to drop out of the basketball team to focus on my studies. As middle school ended, it still felt as if she was one step ahead of me. And if it wasn't actually the case, she sure acted like it was. She had stopped teasing me, stopped looking proud of her achievements, stopped looking at me altogether. It was as if snubbing me was her new way of getting back at me for everything. The glimpse of darkness I had once seen in her eyes was now the only thing perceivable on her features. High school finally came, but luck was not on my side this time around. We no longer had any classes in common, unfortunately enough. Luck, unfortunately? I wonder why I looked at it this way. Probably because tormenting her gave me such satisfaction. It didn't matter though. I could still compete with her in the midterm exams and the like. All I needed to do was to keep on studying until I inevitably beat her at her own game. Or at least that's how my logic went. My popularity had already deteriorated almost to the point where it could be called non-existent. Struggling. Bad, okay. But there were still girls that confessed their love to me from time to time. I always turned them down though. If I had time to mess around with girls, I probably would have time to study even harder. Oh, in any case, that's how I try to keep myself focused, so you'll understand why I felt pretty stupid when I first saw her with a boy. Until then, she hadn't seemed to show any interest in the opposite sex. I wondered why it changed now of all times. Sure, she was quite good looking. She had become a lot more feminine than she used to be. No wonder she was popular with the boys. But because I had been watching her for so long, I just could not wrap my head around it. I mean, why now of all times? I was mad. I was disappointed. I felt humiliated. So does that mean she doesn't need to study as much as I do to beat me? Is that what she's trying to convey here? This made me put even more effort into my studies. It's not going to go your way this time around, that's for sure. I was convinced I would crush her during midterms. So you can imagine my surprise when I actually did. Oh, you did? Oh. The grades of the top 50 students were displayed on the sheet of paper in the main hall of the school. Usually she was positioned in the top 5 and I was in the top 10, but this time it was the other way around. How could this be? I was angry. I should have been overjoyed, but I wasn't. How could I be? It wasn't supposed to be this way. The margin between the two of us was too large. It was simply impossible. I remember now. I remember how, right then and there, I looked around me, really pissed off. That's when our eyes met. For the first time in at least a year and a half, our eyes found each other so naturally, and whereas mine were extremely cold, hers were as passionate as ever, as if she had not changed at all in all those years. She even smiled at me, disgustingly so. I walked up to her, unable to keep my cool. "What's wrong with you?" I blurted as if there was intimacy in our relationship, when in reality, it was the first time I had spoken to her since middle school. Excuse me?" she said to me, trying to look as if she didn't know the reason for my forceful approach. What a great actress she is, as if my sudden outburst is somehow unwarranted. Is this because of your new boyfriend? Is this jealousy I hear? She's doing it on purpose. Don't fuck with me. Okay, whoa, grabby, relax. The fucking relax. Don't need to be doing that type of things. Put her down. You're not that guy. You're gonna fail. You are gonna fail. Badly, she's gonna whoop your ass. I take a hold of her collar aggressively, and I look at her directly in the eye. Oh, she's ready to kill. Whispers start reaching my ears from those around us, about how I'm going to hit her, about how scary I look, and about how someone should stand up to me or something. Yet she doesn't look scared at all. She reciprocates my stare and simply waits for my words. What is this? What is it with those grades, huh? Are you not taking it seriously anymore? Now that you have a boyfriend, is that it? My grades? So one of this is just because of my grades. Her eyes became stern. The inoffensive smile she once had on her face disappears viciously. Tell me, why is it? Why is she changing all of a sudden? This shouldn't happen. I won't let it happen. Why, you ask? I don't know. I just lost interest, that's all. Don't give me that shit. I know you. You know what? She pushes me up on hearing my words. I lose the hold I have on her as a result. You know nothing, Tim, you... whatever. You better get your act together next time or else Or else what? A guy pops out of nowhere and suddenly puts his hand on my shoulder in a warning kind of way. Is this guy troubling you, Cass? I shake his hand off me and I walk away without as much as looking back. Next time I'll show you who's the best between us. You'd better prepare yourself. I think she said something back to me, but I didn't hear or care about it. I was too extremely infuriated by her detached attitude to see or hear anything going on around me. People were probably looking at me with disdain in their eyes, but it didn't matter to me. As if everything I'd been doing all this time had no value, as if I was the only one who saw us as rivals. But things should be good now. By confronting her the way I did, I've given her the little push she needs. Her pride will come out on top in the end. I'm sure of it. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose her. I'll show her. Just you wait, Cassandra. How stupid I was, not understanding that the person I thought I hated the most was paradoxically... Me and my friend love using this word, paradoxically. We never thought it would actually be a word, paradoxically. Oxymoronically. Paradoxically, the one I needed the most. Is this what we call irony? Yes, it is. Ding, ding, ding. In the past 3 years, I have studied a multitude of subjects, believing with an almost blind faith that I was better than everybody else, but there I was completely clueless about the most basic things going on in my life. It was only after the next exam week that I finally realized how distorted my perception of the world really was. I was so sure of myself. Oh, for that I was. Nothing else occupied my mind during all those weeks of self-studying and cram school. I'll beat her fair and square. Last time wasn't a fair fight. She had purposely neglected her studies for something as stupid as love. But now it would be different. I guess it's because of this obsession with my studies and my desire to beat her that I failed to notice something so crucial. Failed to notice what really mattered. I stood in front of the piece of paper which numbered off the top students in our year, frantically searching like a madman for something that was definitely supposed to be there. Not there, not there, not there, not even here. What the fuck? It's impossible. She must have changed her name or something. This can't be happening. But no matter how many times I scanned the damned thing, I was hit with the same conclusion over and over again. She wasn't here. She was not in the top 50. I thought that maybe, as ridiculous as it may sound, she had skipped a year somehow, even though we were in the middle of the semester. But she wasn't in the top list for the third year either. How could that be? I went directly to those in charge of those stupid lists. They had probably made a mistake, incompetent as they were. That was where I heard something preposterous, something so fucking outrageous that I had no other choice but to snap back at them, insulting the lot of them. They told me, and this in the most matter-of-factly tone there is, that she had quit school a month and a half ago. A month and a fucking half. So while I was uselessly, obsessively, and foolishly trying the best I could to surpass a skill that I thought was my equal, she was messing around probably with boys or whatever, and didn't even think me worth the effort. She probably thought she could already have everything in life, since she was so fucking good at everything, and she simply left me there struggling like a fool, probably for her own amusement. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to believe it. But it was the truth nonetheless. I was just too fucking blind to see it coming. Fuck. I like it. I like it. This is a completely different one to the Kilo Love. That bitch. She won even when I was sure of winning. The hopeless feeling that I was so eager to make her feel was now stuck within me. I would never be able to get rid of that. She was no longer someone I could go head to head with, since she had given up entirely. I asked about the reason of her sudden departure, and they told me it was of a personal matter. That it probably had something to do with her family or whatever lies she had fed them. But I knew it wasn't. Fucking bullshit. It was probably her way of getting back at me. Knowing that I was finally going to beat her, she just up and quit to make sure it never happened. That's kind of smart, but also weird, the way he's carrying on. Like, he's delving into it, but he's delving into it too deep, I think. At least that's like my opinion. Not 100% sure about everybody else. That's when I had a revelation. What if I decided to wait for her for another year? Yeah, that was a great idea. All I needed to do was purposely fail but then I remembered that I had just topped second place, and I was pretty much set on passing. Hey dude, don't do that. I almost did that. To fail for someone. Don't do that. Not worth your time. You'll soon find out that it was not worth it. This was over. I had lost the one thing that kept me going. For a time, I seriously wondered what I was going to do with my life. Now that she was gone, I realized I had nothing pushing me forward. But soon it really didn't matter all that much anymore. Since I had already lived this lifestyle for the most part of my youth, stopping was no longer an option for me. So I just continued studying the best I could with this sense of emptiness as my sole source of motivation. High school came to an end extremely quickly. On the last day of school, when I decided to glance around me, all I saw were happy faces. Everyone had someone to talk to, friends and family members, and they all looked proud of themselves for some reason. Some even had boyfriends and girlfriends by their side, holding hands and kissing as though the world no longer had any secrets for them. I was the best of my class, and one of the best in the whole school, and yet I knew nothing. I felt nothing. I was already set to go to one of the top universities of the country. I could see my promising future without anyone's telling me. Still, I had lost something by becoming who I was. I know that much. But since I wasn't one of them, I didn't know what it was that I had lost. Chapter 2. A group date, maybe? Okay. Wait, no, go back. Okay. It's gonna end here. Thank you all so much for watching. It was awesome starting the new game. It's gonna be fun, having something different, having something new. So yeah, please, brain. Sorry. Wow. Probably for the next one. And yeah, can't really see you guys soon. Killer Love will be finished by the time this is up. Maybe. Not sure. Might not be. You never know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Check out very next game. Check Bur_818. Might be a bit of surprise. He might be coming back. I hope he's coming back. I haven't heard from him in a while. A little worried. You're not a little bit. A little lot worried. But yeah, please check him out. See what's happening. Leave some comments. See if he replies. He might not. I might. You never know. But yeah, cheers everybody, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Like there's uncertainty and urgency to find out what you wanna be, but honestly, we change our minds constantly, so stop and breathe and find out who you wanna be.